Hey there everybody, welcome to this video. In this video I was going to cover a native ad I found the other day that I thought was really well done. However, the problem is I can't find it. For days this ad was following me, and of course when I sit down to shoot a video about it, it completely disappears. So when I find it, I'll immediately shoot a video on it. That's what I'll say. I'm sure I'll find it again, but it was a really well done ad. But I have had a few more questions about doing pictures and how to do your own pictures for native ads. And a lot of people have been asking, like, why would you want to put in that amount of work anyway? Number one, my answer is it's not a lot of work, number one, and number two, it's worth the money that it will make you. So everybody just uses the same images for all of their native ads. They just steal everybody else's images, and again, if you create your own images that do well, people will steal them and they will use them. That's just the name of the game. But there's a couple of reasons why I started doing this. I had a friend who got in trouble for using an image that he, according to him, purchased the rights for, but according to the company he purchased the rights for, there's this whole mess. So I'll save that for another video. But just know that even if you think you're purchasing rights for an image from a photo sharing site or something like that, it doesn't matter. These companies will do whatever they want, and they can say that you're using it for commercial purposes, even if you're not, and it's a mess. So since then, I decided that I would start using my own images, and I also said to myself, it's a lot more work, and it's really not, number one, but number two, it is more work, but it also makes me more money because it helps me stand out. So let's look at an ad real quick, and the real purpose of this video was to talk about how important congruence is. As a lot of you may know, I'm really big on making sure ads are congruent. So when I see something like this, this really kind of drives me crazy. When it says, I ordered Ollie for my dog, here's what happens. And it has a picture here, and this looks like it could actually be a picture of somebody's dog. When I click on the ad, it takes me to this right here, and it says the truth about kibble and why our dogs deserve better, and it goes over this whole entire story about, better kibble and everything like this. Popdust, by the way, if you're not following it, it's popdust.com. Definitely a site you should be looking at for native ads. It's another site that is similar to like the Penny Hoarder site, which I'm a big fan of as well. Just looking for content ideas and looking at how they structure their content. Again, this is kind of like a new up and comer that I've been also following. The only problem is they don't set their ads up correctly. And when I see stuff like this where again, it looks like somebody's dog right here, and then you click here and it's like two puppies randomly. I think you would be surprised at how much that affects conversions. You're creating resistance when you make something seem kind of real like this, and then it goes to something like this, which is just completely different. There's a disconnect, and whether you realize it or not, this could be, this might only be, 1 or 2% conversion improvement if we actually used the same image. But a site like this could be spending millions of dollars on an ad, or they could be spending it across all of their ads. And again, so that 1 to 2% would make a huge difference. I think it would be probably more than 1 to 2%. The other thing that I'm moving more towards is that again, if I had a dog, number one, and if I were to promote something like this, actually ordering it for the dog, actually going through the process and seeing what the dog really thinks about it, right? And actually using the product. So I'm a big fan of people who create ads based on products they've actually used. That's something I'm moving more towards. Or I want to have first-hand experience from somebody else, and I can tell their story. And I think that's where native ads need to kind of go. And again, we talked about this in the Rev Content Compliance Update video, which I'll try to link below, and where I said, even these companies like Rev Content are moving more towards content that is actually legitimate and not something fake. And this right here, to me, just makes it seem fake. Again, we're moving from this right here, which looks like that could be actually this person's dog. It says, I ordered Ollie for my dog. And then people click and they see this. And so, like I said, it creates a disconnect. I understand that a company like this, they might be testing, 10,000 images, something like that, maybe even more, of different dogs. So, again, it might not make sense for them to try to get this picture to change. But my brother is a very basic coder, and he could easily create some sort of script that would switch out the image based off of something like a tag or a URL tag or something that I enter in here. So again, there are ways to switch images based off of the ad. And again, that's a little bit more work, but again, if this were me, I would just be, I would, duplicate this article 10 times and I would test 10 different images of the same dog. The other thing is that what I think people don't realize is you could take 1,000 different pictures of the same dog, and you could have one picture here that works really well for the ad, and maybe the picture on this page is different, but if it's the same dog, it's going to have the same effect. They're going to say, oh, that's the same dog. So they're definitely telling a story. So we need to make sure that we're telling stories between here and here, because I think that the people that aren't doing that are severely missing out and are probably leaving a lot of money on the table. So that's the end of that. I wanted to cover also a few more images. Number one, we have this one right here, this foot covered in barbed wire. That got my wheels turning right there. You could easily create an image like this if you were promoting something that says, 8 strange diseases linked to psoriasis, and you could easily create a bunch of different images. These images are shock value images. They work very well. If this were me, I'd be wrapping my own foot in barbed wire and I'd be taking pictures of it. Again, this is how you take things like this and you turn it into something else. And again, you could easily take an image like this and you could think I could think of 1,000 other things that I could be doing with my foot that would probably work. So this is what I do every single day. I look for images like this that I think would probably do pretty well and would probably get a lot of clicks for offers that I'm running. And then I think about how could I take it to the next level, or how could I duplicate it. An image like this, like I said, I could think of an image, a million images, a fake picture of me stepping on glass, nails, you name it, right? The problem with those types of images, and I would be willing to bet the reason that this is a cartoon image is because a lot of networks, a lot of the distribution networks out there, they have rules against images that are too graphic or maybe are too much of a shock value. So again, I'm just giving you an example. You're going to have to take what I say and kind of use it for your own niches. So just know, again, as far as shock value in images is concerned, the reason this is probably a cartoon is because, again, using a cartoon image of this is probably a way around the, shock value terms that a company might have as far as advertisements go. Again, if it were me, I would probably take the risk. Of course, if you have a manager for your Rev Content account or something, you can always run your images by them, and they will tell you if it works or not. So that's a great way to do that. Next, what did I want to talk about here? I think, of course, what probably happened is now these ads have rotated out. So the same advertisement is not here that I wanted to show you, but that's okay. We can just kind of refresh this and see what else I was talking about here. Here are a couple of examples. I mean, how hard is it to take a picture of popcorn at your house? That's something that I'd be doing. Images like this right here work really well. I'm sure that you've probably heard other affiliates talk about how these images where it's an actual person with this kind of cartoon overlay or whatever, these types of images do really well. It's really easy to hire people to do those on freelancer sites and things like that. They can easily take pictures. But again, I would be taking my own picture, like here, I'd be taking my own picture of my own head, or I'd be taking a picture of somebody else, and just kind of getting some freelancer to create this for me. Again, so the main reason that we're doing this is because, number one, it helps you stand out. It is extra work, and like I said, it can cost extra money, but it will help you stand out because, again, all these images are the same. If we click through here, we can see multiple different advertisers on here, and they're all using the same images. They're all using images that everybody else is. So nobody's doing anything different. If you do something different, you're going to stand out, and you're probably going to increase your click-through rates. So that can work really well. And number two, again, it's going to make us more money if we do this. So basically, the image that I wanted to show you was an image of a lady holding a spoon under her eye, and it caught my eye, number one. And those are always images that I really pay attention to. I stare at these images all day long. Like I said, I'm sure a lot of you look at spying websites and things like that where you're looking at ads. So again, you kind of get desensitized. So when something catches my eye, I definitely pay attention to it. But it was a lady with a spoon under the eye for whatever reason, and but she was looking kind of off in this direction. And I always think that if you notice, the best ads on here, actually, they won't be like this right here, where the person is looking off. This makes sense because, of course, it's for a hearing aid. It's not for, so they kind of have to put the person off to the side here like this. If it were me, what I would do is I would probably test this right here, the whole entire face like this, and then I would test, again, something similar to this right here, where it's a zoomed in image, again, just to get the face out of it. To me, if I have a face in my ad, I always find that if they're looking directly, and look, here we go. See, this is a perfect example right here. Look at that. It's the same dog, but let's see what they actually use. They use the same puppies. It's like, you know, exactly what I was talking about. I'm sure they, you know, take a bunch of pictures of your dog like this, right? And then use a bunch on the landing page. It's not, you know, this isn't rocket science. It's not difficult stuff here. But these are the types of images right here. See these two girls staring straight at the camera that do really well. So it's noticing little things like that and then just improving the image as well. And, you know, taking something where, again, the girl, she had the spoon under her eye, but she was looking off. You know, I would test spoon under the eye looking directly at the camera. And, you know, there's a million other things. Then putting a fork under my eye and then putting, you know, something else. So that's how I look at images. Again, this is the crazy stuff that, you know, this is the stuff that a crazy person like me does all day long, looking at these images, just trying to come up with even crazier ideas. I would also test stuff like this. You see this kind of glow that's coming up here in the top right hand corner here? That's the type of stuff that I would also test, spoon under the eye, and then with the glow, and then I would test it without the glow, more glow, less glow. So there are a million ways to take one image and, you know, turn it into 1,000 as well. So that is my rant for today on affiliate marketing. I'm still going to try to find that advertisement, the advertorial that I thought was really good. In the advertorial, I mean, like I said, the image from the ad, from the actual advertisement here, all the way through to the advertorial itself, the image is nearly identical between the two. And even when they're different, again, every once in a while I've seen the ad where the ad image itself here is a little bit different, but it still has elements that are on the advertorial page. So I think it's a really well run advertorial. I've been seeing it for months, so I know people are running it and have been running it for a very long time. So definitely that'll probably be my next video. I'm sure I'll be able to find it. I'm gonna try to look for it today, and hopefully I'll be able to get it up tomorrow. So thank you everybody for watching, and good luck with your marketing.